We've got our test piece in position. This is the piece that we just tacked up. And what I want you to see again is the body motions and the hand positions of both hands while I'm welding. We're not going to actually view the weld this time, but I want you to see more along the lines of how to be comfortable using this technique and this application to get familiar with looking through the bevel while welding. I had to change my hoods because that quick change lens will not stay activated looking through the bevel like this. So before I told you, you trap the hose between your arm and the body of the hand you're welding the TIG rig with, your torch hand. Then you wrap that one time and end up with the rig.
Okay, we are gonna just come right up the left side, actually the right side but left-handed, and using the same principle, walking the cup. I've got the nozzle or the tip of the cup just recessed into the bevel. You can see I'm just, you can watch the wrist at the joint of the wrist where it goes into my arm. You can see as I come back and forth side to side, I actually have to, almost like a little upward kick in the wrist. That's what I want you to understand and see from this technique, from this perspective rather. It is not just, you know, back and forth. There is an upward rocking motion with it as well. When you are TIG welding, you can actually sometimes stop and watch your pull the rod out, look at the keyhole as you're still heating on it, and you can see the metal actually sag a little more on the interior of your material pipe or whatever you're welding on. And sometimes you'll want to do that to see what kind of penetration you're getting. More is always better than less as far as breaking surface. You don't want suck back, you don't, you know, flush is okay, but a little extra is always a little.
Let me buff that. Hit that with a buffer. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, so what I did was, rather than stop where I had originally stopped, I started on my start, came all the way across, and then carried a little heavier in here to get beyond that shallow area and that mismatch of metal when I stopped. Now, I've got a better starting point. It looks more continuous. Continuity's better. Now I can go ahead and come around, and I'll probably just do a third of this, half this last piece. That's cut that in half and do two welds on it to finish that top pass on the left side. Okay, you can see I ground this in. There was looked like trap slag in a little pocket, and it's a good thing that I hit it with a grinder. When in doubt, grind it out, because it was pretty deep in there. You can see how deep I had to go. There's no way I would have burnt slag that was trapped that far in out with the rod. That's why you've got to grind sometimes. But that's all cleaned up now and ready to go. Putting my last pass on the top on the left side. makes it a lot less likely. So that's what we're going to do on this particular test piece. It's in the 6G position. I'm on one knee. It's just where I can, you know, if you want to position your piece up higher where you can stand up and get to it, and that's entirely up to you. That's the beauty of welding. You know, people have different approaches to the same completed project, the same end. So we're going to start out with this. I'm going to put my hood on. I've got my heat set on 85. Let me show you this on the can. Okay, this diagram that I'm showing you is the label on 7018 Adamark. It's an ESOB. ESOB is the brand, Adamark is their name. This is 7018 332. And if you roll it around again, this is a heat template. It tells you the positions, tells you your positions out here. Then it gives you your rod size, 332, 1/8, 532. And then it gives you your range for what position. So according to what their guidelines are, for 332, in the position that I'm welding in, the heat range is 70 to 110. So I'm at 85 just to start out, see how that runs, and go from there. This can, these cans have, a lot of times you see a can like this, some contractors